Hi, Steve with Brownells, and in today's video we're going to do a 1022 build to complement the one Caleb did on his gun. I'm going to do mine a little different, so let's get started. First thing I like to do is choose the components, and I'm going to use a Brownells receiver for this, and I've already put a scope base on it because down the road I'm going to put an optic on it, but not right now. So there's a lot of good scope bases out there, either with MOA or without any kind of inclination at all at zero MOA. So the other option is to buy the Brownells with the built-in rail. Moving on, I'm going to spoil myself and use a Volquartsen trigger group. As a gunsmith, I like to have a nice trigger on all my guns. There's nothing wrong with the factory Ruger trigger, but after you deal with 1911s and Rugers or Remington 700s all the time, they feel a little spongy to me. So I go with a Volquartsen. And I've got a Volquartsen bolt here also. Probably a little overkill for what I'm doing, but what the heck, why not? And the reason I say overkill is because I'm going to go with a factory Ruger barrel. I've got the Ruger threaded type barrel here. I'm going to put that on there because down the road I think I see a suppressor in this gun's future. We also carry just the plain barrel, the standard 1022 barrel that's been around for decades now. So, but I'm going to do the threaded version. So to get started, what I like to do is put the barrel in first. And to make it easier on you and the cameraman, I'm going to have the vise hold it still while I do all this. So upside down, I'm going to put my receiver on, slide it on like that. And what I should have done is slid this in first. There we go. That's your barrel bracket there. The two screws that hold it in. The nice thing about a 1022 is it's easy to put together. Anybody can do it. You don't even need a vise. You can do this at your kitchen table or in your lap if you had to. So tighten these babies up. A lot of threads on there. You got a lot of strength here with all that thread. So that makes it easy on your aluminum receiver just in case you happen to over tighten it a little bit. Now on this, I don't go to any specific torque value. I've been gunsmithing for so many years, I just snug them up. I've never had one work loose. So I'm not quite as scientific about it as Caleb is. I think he did like 35 inch-pounds. So if you got the capacity to torque it to a certain spec, by all means do so. All right, that was easy. We got the barrel installed. Almost fun. Now, I'll turn it over so you can see. And there's a seat built into the receiver right back here where the spring end goes in, along with its guide. But to do so, I have to turn it up, and I have to be able to see what I'm doing. So if you'll pardon me for just a second. Now, pay particular attention to this because the Volquartsen bolt, unlike the Ruger system, does not have an attached handle and the spring is not captive. So what you do is compress this spring down and start the guide in the bolt and then hold on for dear life, capture it like this. Now we can put the bolt, the end of that guide rod in that seat and bring the bolt back and snap it in place. Once it goes, it goes. So you can see that the spring and guide are seated there, bolts all the way forward. So while we've got it here, we'll just screw in the operating handle, which is kind of a clever system, really. Gives you a nice oversized operating handle. And if you get the knack of it, this is actually easier to install and take out than the standard one, at least to me, but I haven't done it in a while now, so I'm not quite as fluent as I once was. Now that we've got the bolt handle attached, I like to put in the buffer before I get the trigger group and everything else in. I'm using a synthetic buffer like this, and sometimes they can be a little problem to put in. Sometimes they slide right in, but this particular receiver is really tight in the tolerances, so it just barely squeaks in. So I want to be sure I can guide it from the inside if I have to. So what I did, I should tell you ahead of time, I beveled the edges just slightly and then put a little brake free on it to make it go easy. So give it a twist, and that will let it go in. The harder you push, the more it expands and the harder it is to push it in. So nice and easy, and then just fingernail pressure ought to be enough to seat it the rest of the way. There we go. Now we can go ahead and put the trigger group in, which is nothing but 2 pins. And since I'm working up and down, or upside down, I got to make sure that my ejector goes where it's supposed to go. Just hold it in place. Get 1 pin started. And then do the other. And sometimes these will push in finger pressure. Other times you got to kind of help them along. And like I said, this receiver's got really tight tolerances, so this thing locks up like a vault when you put everything together. That's it. That's all the hard work's done. So let's go ahead and put the stock on. And to do that, obviously you want to remember that the push button safety on the Ruger is exactly the same width as the cutout on the bottom of the receiver. So you need to put this in the halfway position. Otherwise, it's not going to go through this little area right here, because this and that are equal pretty much. So I'll get this back in to place here. And I guess to best show you, I'll put it back upside down again. You've got your ledge here that catches in the stock, so you want to rock it in. You want to start that first. Make sure your safety's clearing. Don't force anything, especially with a wooden stock, and it should just rock in just like that. Nice and easy. Now we go ahead and tighten up the main screw. Just snug it up. It's only a 22. We're not shooting a 416 Rigby here. And with that, we have a complete gun ready to go. Doesn't take long. The options are just about unlimited. You can get hundreds of different barrels out there, dozens of different scope mounts. There's other receivers out there. I think the Brownells is the best deal right now. Stocks, sky is the limit again. Wood, laminated wood, synthetic. Magpul makes a great stock if you're using one of the takedown guns too. Don't forget those. So, couldn't be easier. This is what I like, a little more traditional look, and yet I've got that Picatinny rail on there in case I need to mount an optic. So, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments or give us a call on the Tech Line. We'll see you next time.